Hello, and welcome to the Quality Coding Stream. I'm John Reed, a mud shark. I don't know if anyone else is here yet, but for those who are watching after the fact, if you're watching on Twitch after this is live, hey, come on by live sometime so that you can participate in the chat. That's where the real fun is. And Mudshark 666 here is the real player for me. So kudos to you. Thanks as always. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, hey, subscribe and like if you want to see an hour of me coding, mistakes and all. And again, do also consider coming over to Twitch sometime, even if it's for just a bit. It's always fun to have folks from around the world participating. Let's see, what have we got going this week? Quickly, a sneak peek at what I've been working on at Industrial Logic is I've been flogging technical training, but lately I'm working on something new under e-learning where we have instructional, it's more than like tutorials or anything like that. It's quizzes and things. These courses are the bomb, and I am starting to work. You can't get it yet, but Code Smells in Swift is coming soon. So keep your eyes open for that. I'll be, of course, announcing that when that goes live. Really excited about that. After that, there will be more. And something else I want to announce over on my website is a new blog post. If you haven't seen this yet, check out this video. I'm working really hard on my non-live videos these days to make them shorter, for busy people or people with short attention spans or whatever life is these days. And this is a short video. I mean, I forget how long it is, but it's like 3.5 minutes, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And you can see how I use approval tests to do parameterized tests. This is a new feature in approval tests, and I'm really excited about this. I hope more folks start to discover this tool, because it's not just me coding on this brand new thing. It's an old thing that's been around in other languages, so it's got a depth of ideas, domain ideas around testing that are super powerful, and you can have them in Swift. See, a couple more folks have joined. Do say hello and where in the world you are. It's always more fun on the chat that way. What are we working on? This is our discovery tree of converting my view controller presentation SPI over to Swift. And, I think it's time to rearrange this tree. All this I sort of left here so that folks can get an idea of how it's laid out, but it's getting in my way. Let's clean up. Let's get rid of stuff here. Time to clean it up a bit. Let's see, because we have three, the SPY has three main verifiers: an alert verifier, a presentation verifier, and a dismissal verifier. And the dismissal verifier is now in Swift. So I really think this is done, and we have other stuff to do. Other cleanup on the way. I'm going to move this checklist out of the way because I think we're done with it. Maybe. We'll see. I'll just keep it off to the side here. But let me, yeah, let's do more cleaning here. As always, if you are just joining and if you are have something you'd like to ask or share with me, put it in the chat. Doesn't matter if it's related to what I'm doing on the screen at all. I think that's one of the most fun discoveries for me about streaming regularly. Hats off to Jitter Ted, who got me started in streaming, live coding, and he swore by it, and I was like, I don't quite understand it. It is a lot of fun. It's something I look forward to. All right, let's get rid of these, all the stuff. Okay, so here we've got some things. Let's have a look at the code. And something I realized I haven't done for you, because I've got the font big for the code, but all this stuff along here, this the project tree, I realized that might be too small for you. So let me bump that up, say to 16. I can go bigger. How about 18? Let's see. That should be nicer for you, no matter what, whether you're watching on a big, well, if you're watching on a big screen, you got no problems. You make it big. But if you're watching on a small screen, that's my concern. And we have a few, very little Objective-C left, which is exciting. Let's see what we got. It looks like my helper methods to do the swizzling are still in Objective-C. Okay, so let's get that down here. I'm going to make some new things here. So swizzling helpers, that's one thing. What else do we have? The mock popover, I think this is no longer being used. What I'd, maybe we can just get rid of it right now. Run tests and do a safe delete. Has two usages. Oh, where? Okay, so there are a couple imports that may be irrelevant. Well, let's try. Let's comment one out and see. Okay, that's clean. I'm going to get rid of that line. And where else? Ah, out at the umbrella header. Let me just try to get rid of it. And that seems okay. So let me check that in. Without further ado, This will be a little wider there. I guess that's the consequence of me making things bigger for you, is that they take up more of my screen real estate, but that's okay. This goes away automatically now that I have it set up properly. So this is test supported. Remove unused imports. And now I should be able to try the safe delete again. Yes? No? What's wrong with you, app code? You're showing it nicely. It says it doesn't have an implementation. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I am going to do a hard delete. All right, what do we got? Yes, do it. All right. Hey. That gets rid of some stuff. Awesome. That's that much less Objective-C. I think, in terms of the discovery tree, I think I've mentioned this before, but I feel there are parallels, or there are things that I apply from the getting things done methodology, GTD. And one of the ideas in GTD is to get stuff out of your head, like get it down, in this case, into a tree. But one of the GTD handy rules of thumb is, if something is going to take less than 2 minutes, don't write it down. It's faster to just do it. And so that's what we did just now. That seems like a nice way to go. All right, so then we have these notification strings, which are this. All right, so let me bring this up here and change it. We took a stab at it, but it wasn't successful. All right, so this is what I think is left. I'm going to get rid of that, which means this is done, which means really this is done, which is sort of what I wanted to express. The verifiers are done. We're not done with the whole thing. Let's start. Now let's continue with the notification names, because that's still kind of fresh on my mind. And then swizzling. Let me just make sure I don't get any arrows here. There we go. I'll change back to plain old straight lines. The nice angled lines are prettier, but the straight lines are easier to work with. So that's my new habit, is to just switch them. It doesn't take long. Hello to whoever's come in recently. Even if you're here for just a few minutes, welcome. Glad to have you. And feel free to ask questions about anything. Why not? It can be anything. unrelated to what I'm doing or whatever. So let's try to get back here. Oh, this is no longer in progress, except for the swizzling. But I guess technically all these sort of belong under there. Okay. These aren't parented quite right. Let me try again. These need to come down. That's what this is. Do some reparenting here. This is so much easier than trying to move something in Jira. Oh my gosh. Jira is like designed to punish. I swear. It's designed to impede work, I feel like. Here, I just move stuff around. Post-its, it's even easier. Right, so that makes more sense. So this is now going to be the thing we work on. There. Because we're still doing the Objective-C to Swift conversion. Got it. Right, so let's see about those notification names. We tried to take a crack at them last time and failed. Because notification names are rather different in Swift. Hey, Hamzaig. Yeah, managers love Jira. You know what managers would love, though, if we showed them? Is that it's like, okay, you got all this reporting and stuff, but what if reporting weren't as important as getting shit done? What if we could, not just getting stuff done, shipping? That's the thing. Steve Jobs, for all his faults, had a number of brilliant things, right? I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And one of his sayings, it was that real artists ship. And that's the thing. Every time you see me coding here, after each session, I'm pushing. Like it. Now, I'm the only one in this code base, so it's easy for me. But if we were working on something in which there were a lot of people working in the same repo, I'd be pushing to main all the time. And hopefully then getting that code out into real users' hands, even if the real user is internal use for dog fooding, that's okay. Just to see, to complete the loop, to try it and say, is this decent? Does this move us forward? Ship stuff. And I think if we can show managers that basically together we can be heroes. It's not pitting management against developers. One of the original old ideas, and thanks Hamzaig for jumping in, because you got me on a rant, which is part of the fun of these streams for me. One of the original ideas behind extreme programming was to take management, actually not just management, users and developers, and bring them together. Bring the users and the developers together. Fast delivery, like you say, get fast feedback, and I think managers would love that if we could reassure them that we're not going to threaten them, that this will actually be better for everybody. There we go. That's my little rant. Jira. Oh my gosh. All right. So what were we doing? Here is how notification names work in Swift. It's an extension to notification.name. And we had trouble with this. And I don't remember why or what the trouble was. So let's get in trouble again and kind of start fresh and see what's going on. And where these notifications are used down here. Oh. So this notification.name.QCO mock alert controller presented, that's the funny translation. Yeah. NS notification versus notification. It's pretty impressive, the work that whoever's worked at Apple on bridging code, bridging things across languages. Hats off to you. Great job. Sometimes it gets confusing, but especially for converting, like right now. But all in all, the resulting code is so clean. So where we went wrong. I'm trying to switch to the 2, which is now up here. And I bet you, maybe we're using this somewhere else? Yes. Let me try changing both places. Here. And here, right? Because one, oh, now they're gone because I changed them. This, well, let's try and see. My theory, my hope is that we ran into trouble because I was changing basically the sending but not the receiving end. So if we change them both, hey, sometimes, oh my gosh, sometimes problems, head-scratching problems are just a matter of stepping away, putting it down. Unbelievable. Okay. Well, great. That's a good change. I'm gonna commit that. Oh my. Switch notification from IFC style to Swift style. Let's keep going on this front. Oh, I'm glad for that. Okay. I want to get them all in. So we've got alert controller, QCO mock alert controller presented, and then we have view controller presented and view controller dismissed. So let's make those. And this needs to be the right name. Let me just keep me honest here. View controller presented notification. I'll just simplify it. All right, so there's one more. So let's see if we can't, I can't find other uses of this. Namely, here and here. And run tests. Boom. All right. That's one more. I'm just gonna amend it to the old one. Keep piling it in and keep doing this until we get them all. Next. Okay. Wow. I'm still laughing because I was also tired last time, and that's something else that I mention on occasion is the recognition, the acceptance, not just acceptance, coming to real peace with the fact that developers are just humans. We are not robots. We are not machines. We are people with bodies, or the bodies that are sometimes good and bad, sometimes tired, sometimes energetic, living in environments, in a world that is sometimes peaceful, sometimes chaotic, often a mix of all of the above. My life is peaceful, but there is war in Ukraine as Russia. How come Russia gets to bomb the crap out of Ukraine? That's that's enough of that. Let's go back here. Change this one. Change that one. Run tests. Whoop. And I'll just amend this. Awesome. So I believe now these will be, I'll be able to safe delete them. Let me just try one. Good. Good. And now we see what's left in here. Nothing. Is there anything left in here? Nothing. Goodbye. And I thank it. I thank this file for having done work for me for so long. Crap. What did I mess up? I must have, oh, I know. It's in the umbrella. There we go. Okay. All right, so that is deleting. Not Swift, Objective-C. Yay. So coming back over here, this is now done, baby, done. Wonderful. Next, swizzling. And a drink of coffee. Not many people here today. I don't know. Are all Europeans on taking the 4th of July weekend off? Doesn't make sense. Oh, but it is summer, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope folks are having a good time and are able to watch some of this on replay. Nice. Nice. Vacations. That makes sense. All right, swizzling. Here we are. What have we got in here? We have two methods that do swizzling and, well, let's see. This might get a little hairy, but it might not. But it might. Because I don't know how to call these are calls to the Objective-C runtime. Getting a class method, getting an instance method, and exchanging implementations to do the swap. How do you call the runtime in Swift? I guess it's time to find out. And you can look it up. Also, let's see, Swizzle in Swift. Well, PS PDF Kit is definitely a good source because Pete Steinberger is a person I trust for deep expertise. Typical way to swizzle. Huh. So it looks like, I mean, this looks like just the same things, except in Swift. So maybe I can just call them. Typical way to swizzle. Now I'm concerned, like, okay, so if that's the typical way, what's the correct way? Here he gets into the stuff that really comes from their work on PSPDF. I probably don't need this. PSPDF is, they're having to do some hairy work and get down to really low level stuff. So let me do this. Let me copy this over and let's start. I'll keep that handy. Let us do NS object. Yeah. Although it could be on UI view or UI view control. I'll just start. Keep it the same sort of thing. I'm just thinking of another thing to do. And that is going to be clean up names. But that's not really part of the conversion. That's like after the conversion is done. I've got weird names that no longer need to be so complicated. Let me put that up there. All right. What do you import? Is it in Foundation? Let's try and see. So copy this. Let me copy a bit more. Class init. No, I'll just leave it like this. All right. Let us split this down and see what we have. We come in with two selectors. We want original selector and swizzled selector. But what are these types? What's a selector? Oh, it's a selector. Great. Okay, dokie. Let's see. And this is, here I've done this as an extension on NSObject. That might be overkill, but let me do it anyway. And this will be a static func. In Objective-C, when you see a plus as opposed to a minus, that's a class method versus an instance method. A class method is not quite the same thing as a static, but it's close enough for most cases. All right, so if we say the original method, all right, so this looks a lot like what I have here, except it's got a guard. Let me lay this out a little better. Hello. All right, so original method equals class get class method from can I just say self to refer to the object, where the selector is the original selector. Oops. Comma, let swizzled method equals same thing. Oh, it's better. Except this will be the swizzled selector. Okay, so guard, get those things, otherwise return, and then method, exchange implementations, original method, swizzled method. Will this work? Will this build? It builds. Oops. Okay, so it builds fine. I'll worry about layout in a second. Okay, replace method 2. So, where is this called? And it may not pick it up because app code, because the translation from of names, the reshaping of names from Objective-C to Swift is complicated. I think that's where app code falls down and says, well, I don't see it. So I have to resort instead to regular old find. Let me close this off. Make the find nice and big. And here are the results. We've got the declaration we don't care about. Oh wait, this is elsewhere. That's in derived data. Don't care about that. That's the original. Okay, so there are two places where it's used. So let me see if I can switch this out for 2. Didn't like the naming of that. Oh, because I've got names. Let me to make it easier, let me change the names of the parameters. I'll change this up, but just to make it easier to move around. Let's see if we can't do this. Hey, what's wrong? Or maybe that's a ghost error. Let me try. No, it didn't like that. Where the heck did this with method? Oh, I see. That's, again, naming. All right, let me just try this for a second. If this works, I want to change the naming though. But first, let's see if it works. Hey, it worked. All right. Let's change the other one. I can easily go back to my last search results by, my fingers know that find is command 3. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. The tabs, one nice thing about app code is that you can see by hovering over a tab either on the left there or along the bottom. My hand disappears. Ah! There, if you hover over a tab, you can see, okay, that's commit is command 0, project is command 1, find is command 3. I just know these things now. And it keeps the last results there. So I can easily get there by popping up command 3. Let me change this out. That is both uses of this thing. So this should switch us over. Hooray. Feeling good. Let me... This is class method swizzling. Is now in Swift. Now I don't like these arguments. And of course I have to rename it. Okay, first, before I rename and get rid of stuff, let's come back here. I should be able to do a safe delete. So that is an automated thing. Now let's do renaming and cleaning up. Change signature. Let's do this in one shot. Let me rename it and bring these names over. Do I want to say swizzled selector? That seems like overkill. Or original selector. I think I'd rather say original because the signature has selector in it. You're not going to pass in something else. This is all sort of part of what I need to look at as far as updating names goes. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so there's that change. If we look at the others, for example, this one, place class method, original, swizzled. Okay, that's looking better. All right. So that's a change signature. Cool. We are on the way. Don't jinx it. Now you've ruined it. I'm just gonna face plant right now. Oh my gosh. All right. Here's the one that's left. This works on instance methods rather than class methods. So I think that it can be very much the same as the other one, except instance instead of class. Let's try. Excuse me. And we'll try to duplicate it and say replace instance method. I'll just keep the keep this with the new signature instead of 2 because it's going to be different. The naming is going to be different. This will be, I can do this in one shot. Instance method, original, swizzled, and that should do it. Let me double check against here, like instance method, and exchange. That's the only difference. So now let's look for these. And fix it up. What have we got? Derived data. I don't care. I wish it wouldn't. I think I need to file a request to JetBrains. I want to exclude derived data from searches. I mean, let's see what, yeah, because I did a project style search, even if it's a directory search. I don't know. Scope search. I'm not familiar with scope search. Is this better? Let's see. No, it's still finding derived data. I'm not sure what scope search is. Scope. All places, project files. Oh, interesting. Scratches, recently viewed files, recently changed files. Wow. Locally changed files? I've never seen this. All right, so these don't matter. Objective-C doesn't matter. The new definition doesn't matter. All we have is these. Okay. Let's see if we can't do this. I think that's the change I need to make now. Let's test this. Good. Let me keep going. Hey, where's my tab? I wonder if I can copy and paste like that. That's nicer. I'm feeling confident enough to do these in one shot. Boom. And boom. Mudshark's jinx did not interfere. Great. So this, let me pull up the history and say class method swizzling. Now this is going to be instance method swizzling. Now in Swift, which means this old one I can delete. Cool. Really like the ability to pull up a similar commit message and change it. And so these are now gone, except this is in the umbrella, wasn't it? The umbrella header now has nothing in it except for the required little version number folders. Should be able to do that and get rid of the last. Hey, this is a momentous occasion. This is the last .h and .m inside of View Controller Presentation Spy. Yes, usages. I think the usage is only in the project file. Oh. Ow. Here, I'm just going to say delete ns and I like the completion of file names, and boom. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, thank you, Pete Steinberger. Even though I didn't use your fancy thing, I don't need it because I'm not writing something so as intense as you are. But here's our momentous occasion. Swizzling Helpers is done, which means Objective-C to Swift conversion is done. Woohoo! Oh, happy day. Wow. So we're almost at the end. It'll be time after this to start going through and basically Swiftifying things. There's going to be old junk in there, weird old names, names that are too long, things that should have arguments, or maybe things that shouldn't have arguments, or maybe like the parameter names I just changed instead of original selector, just saying original because the type is selector and being okay with that. I think that is where we will continue next time, but I do want to ask a question, and I should also put this out more broadly. So the only thing left inside of here is this. And this is created when you define a new, if you create a framework, it just comes with this. Does it need this even? I don't know. But every framework I've ever made has this in it, and if that's waste, you can tell me, Mudshark. But that is it. That doesn't count against Swift Package Manager. So I believe we will be okay. So the question I want to pose, and it doesn't have to be, it's just, I don't even know what they're for. But they're there every time you create a new framework. The question to pose, but I'd like to pose it more broadly than to the Mudshark and whoever else is lurking, is we're getting to the end of this project. What's next? What shall I live code next? And I don't know what the answer to that is. Because I don't have I mean, the last two big projects were big projects that I was working on. I don't have another one at the tip of my brain here. Barring anything else, I could do some code katas. I don't know. Or maybe it would be time to revive an old project that I did way back but never finished, which is let's TDD a simple iOS app. That might be worth doing. We'll see. Anyway, I'll post that out there. You can I'll ask on Twitter, maybe on LinkedIn, now that LinkedIn is becoming more of a thing for me as far as like more interesting interactions. It is surprising. It's not just like networking anymore. People are actually expressing opinions, and so folks can find me. Other side. There I am on LinkedIn, John Reed. These are the various places to find me. But thanks very much. Smooth this time. Shockingly smooth, considering, I suppose that's how it should go towards the end. The beginning was rocky, right? But I'll be back next week as we continue to maybe do the cleanup and then the packaging and try to ship this thing out pronto. So thanks very much. If you've been watching on YouTube and you've made it this far, then please give this a like and consider subscribing, hit the bell and all that. If you're on Twitch and this has been valuable, consider subscribing on Twitch. Thanks either way, and this is a good time See you next week. Take care.